Speaking of blaming the movies, we moved from blaming the movies to blame on being famous. Everyone wants to be
Oh,
a social media star. Everyone
that
wants
was
to
a
go
great
viral before.
segue.
Thank you.
That was a great
And we are
segue.
introduced to Jill Roberts, who wants to be Paris Hilton, the slasher version, in Scream 4. Now,
Wow,
Scream
wow.
4 did not revitalize the franchise as they had hoped because this is the least popular and the least successful entry in the franchise. It did not make as much as they thought opening weekend, and a lot of reviews panned it because they did not. I don't want to say they did not understand it, but I don't think they understood what Wes Craven was going for. Because if you think about what was going on in 2010, 2012, World Star, Vines, MySpace, Facebook, who got discovered on YouTube? Justin Bieber. Paris Hilton released a sex tape. So did China. You know what I mean? Anything to get famous. So this is
Yeah.
kind of that story. What would you do for your 15 minutes? That is the question that this movie asked. And I thought it asked it brilliantly, in my
I know
opinion.
you've got some very strong uh thoughts on Scream 4. That I do know. I'll say this real quick. Um, I can see why it's not like the majority's favorite. Like like the expectations were through the roof, at least for me,
No,
through
that was
the
everyone.
fucking roof.
Everyone was like, we were waiting. Because think about how when 3 came out and when 4 came out. When 4 was announced, the horror world rejoiced. Like, oh my God,
We back in the
Ghostface is
game.
coming back.
Yep, we back in the game now, and they have been like hinting at it for a while. There were rumors, like I remember like the early days of like upcoming horrormovies.com, and Scream 4 was one of those movies that it just kept saying in development or in not pre-production, but it just said development or development hell, whatever it was. And I remember Nev Campbell doing an interview, and she was saying that the only way she would come back is if Sidney Prescott was in a mental institution. And I was like, oh shit. Hopefully they handle this better than they handled Laurie Strode in
Boy,
the
yeah.
mental institution in Halloween Resurrection. So the expectations were crazy for it. And I remember like the first time I watched Scream 4, I was just like I was antsy. That was the first time probably since part 2 that I was that antsy. Like, not to take away anything from part 3, I love part 3, but something about we didn't get a Scream movie since 2000. That was when part 3 came out, and then we got Scream 4. And when did this shit come out?
I think 2010.
2011.
It's not long, yeah.
That's even like, come on, man, that's even crazier. And like, I just know that like it's one thing to be excited, but I'm not gonna lie, the opening was throwing me off. The opening, I was so fucking confused when they kept pulling out and they kept, oh, this is stab 1, oh, this is stab 8, and all this other shit. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I thought I was watching the wrong movie at some point. But I don't know. I feel like the wrong two girls were in that opening. I wish they would have had Anna Paquin and who's that other girl? Is that Kristen Bell?
Mr.
Another
Bell, yeah.
Kristen Bell and Anna Paquin. They could have been the opening sequence victims in that shit. I don't know that. And I remember they went back and said that they were reshooting the opening sequence to make it more like vicious and dramatic. I don't know what the fuck they shot, but from what you tell me, I haven't seen it yet. They should have kept the original opening
Oh,
for
the original opening was so good, man,
yeah.
because it comes out and then the two friends are arguing, and instead of them bickering, the other one goes to the kitchen, the other one stays in the living room. Ghostface comes in right behind her and starts stabbing her and killing her,
Yeah, they should have kept
and
that.
her friend's just standing there like, oh, okay, bravo, yeah, okay, and she says, Charlie, knock it off. Because that's one of the reasons too, because they name drop Charlie
Oh, they should have kept that.
because he was
They
their
should have kept
friend. He was their friend, and it was like, oh shit. But we don't. I mean, when you're first watching that, you don't understand that. You're like, oh, that's Charlie, whatever, you know. But that sequence alone is so much better because it's
Yeah.
so much intense. It's way more intense than that. I like the other one because it's a wink and a nod to the audience that look how far we've come. Like, look how far, you know what I mean? But I feel like you lean into the wink a little too much.
Yeah, man,
That's
and
all.
just for a week opening kill right before the title card, like that girl when she's crawling down the steps, it's like, okay, you got stabbed in the back, but I don't give a fuck whether you live or die at this point, because her character is just like I don't know, they tried to draw it out and make it almost like this Casey Becker type of thing, and then he hits the garage door and the garage door falls on her. It's like, okay, man. Then he turns her over and it's like, y'all reshot all that for that. Like it just seemed like a pointless reshoot to me.
Well,
And
because they were like, the MPAA would have given him an NC-17 rating for that.
oh, we need to get the MPAA on the show. That's who we need.
I don't know, man.
That is
I don't want to. I don't want to fuck with the Illuminati, bro.
yeah.
I don't want
Our
to do
shit
that.
just going.
I don't want to
We
do
get
that.
the MP. Yeah, we get the MPAA on the show. Our shit's just going just black out and just cut off, and everybody that's watching like all our shit will be wiped clean from the net. Like all our fucking like episodes and all that. They like, listen, we got to get rid of these two motherfuckers immediately.
Exactly. They're exposing us.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
They're
go into
exposing
witness
us.
protection programs, all of that shit. I don't
Once we
know.
do something for the MPAA, it'd be like one of those like most wanted caricatures that like is on a dark shadow with a deep voice. Yeah, I'll look for the MPAA.
yo, yo, oh my god, man! Like, yeah, somebody standing or sitting in that room, like with the just with the blacked out face and the distorted voice. But that'll be us. Like if the MPAA, like the Illuminati type of motherfuckers, if they came after us, that's gonna be us. Like when they interview us, like, so tell us what happened when they shut you down. We're just gonna be like sitting in the room behind that fucking.
We were just minding our own business, man, talking about Scream. All of a sudden, they came after us.
Yeah, I don't. That'd be a hell of a fucking spoof, though, man. Like the MPAA is like the Illuminati of the movie industry, and they every person they shut down, every person they shut down gets interviewed. Every person they shut down gets interviewed, and we're on there telling our war stories of how the fucking MPAA just shut all our shit down. That'd be fucking gold, yo. That's gold. Oh, another thing about Scream 4, I understand Sydney's writing a book, but why the fuck did she come back to Woodsboro? Like, okay, you're doing a book tour. There's no way I'm coming back to that place ever. I don't understand. Do we still be in there? It goes back to when Gail and him were talking in Scream 3, and she's like, you said you'd never leave Woodsboro, the only place that's real. But like, they should have moved. I feel like they should have put Nev Campbell in a mental institution like she wanted to originally. I don't know. And for that to be like the comeback of Wes Craven, I feel like Scream 4 it misses a lot of marks, man. It's almost too familiar at times. Like the shit they try to recreate from the first movie.
I do agree with you because there are some like really great moments that they don't really capitalize on, like the recording, the streaming, all that stuff. Like the idea of them recording the murders and possibly putting it up on the internet. Like, why didn't they do that? Like, they should have done that. Like, that was that would have been such a great thread from a story beat perspective. You know what I mean?
That was pure genius when they came up with that, and I love that it's Robbie and Charlie that are doing it and explaining it. Like Robbie's walking around with the fucking with the camera on 24/7. And I love how they explain it in that Cinema Club group. That's another thing that I do give Scream 4 credit for. That whole Cinema Club shit is something that, like, they took what Scream 2 did with that film class that Randy was taking, and then they built on that, but you only get that one sequence. Like, I wish there was more sequences with Cinema Club. I know they couldn't spend a lot of time on that, but that shit leading up into, what's that thing called? The Stabathon that they had at the barn, they had ideas, man. I don't know what it was about. I don't know if it was how much time had passed between Scream 3 and Scream 4 or what, but it just doesn't like it's cool. I don't hate any of the movies in the franchise. It's like the Nightmare on Elm Street series. I don't hate any of them except the fucking remake, but they all give you what you want in a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. That's what the Scream franchises do. They give you what you want in a Scream movie, even though the sequels vary in quality and shit. But Scream 4 has got so many good ideas and so many good characters. Like Charlie and Kirby, two of the best fucking characters in the whole franchise.
Yes.
It's unfortunate what happens with my man Charlie, but him and Kirby allegedly, right?
Allegedly,
reportedly, Charlie and Kirby, that moment between them, like I have not cheered for two characters to get together. Like I haven't even cheered for Dewey and Gale all that much, like the way I did for Charlie and Kirby when they're going like back and forth. And she's like, I could trivia your ass under the table. He's like, who played Leatherface first? And they're having like that little back and forth. I'm like, this motherfucker is my spirit animal. Like I used to want to encounter somebody that loved that like horror movies at the time as much as I did. Like I love that interaction between the two. I almost answered a question that we gotta wait until the end of the Scream 4 discussion. I'll wait. But okay. You go ahead and chime in. I'll just hold out on that.
I really do like this movie, and I do think that there's some really great ideas in this movie. They're just not fleshed out enough. Like, you could have done so much with the streaming, with the viral, with the murders. Charlie even brings it up in the cinema club and said, like, because Gail has like, well, how would you up the ante here? Well, the killer would be recording the murderers, but that would implicate us, and they both point at each other. Which
I love that part.
A really hilarious moment.
Yeah, that moment
especially
is great,
how it
man.
plays out at the end. And I just wish they did that a little bit more. Just post that on the dark web and just do something with it. You know what I mean? Because it would have been such a idea that would have been ahead of its time. Had this movie came out 4 years later, I think this movie would have been gangbusters, because then it would have been the viral sensation, like YouTube stars of content creators being famous, is almost as famous as, you know, Tom Cruise and Michael J. White and being celebrities on the internet. Like, that's like, you missed the boat. You didn't miss the boat, but you caught the boat a little too early, and you just couldn't ride that wave, which is unfortunate, because had this movie come out in 2014 with the social media boom, this movie would have hit differently, for real. And I equate this movie to a movie called Laid to Rest from 2007, where there's this guy called Chrome Skull filming his murders and posting it and selling them on the dark web.
I've literally only seen that movie once. I never saw the sequel, but I did see the original Laid to Rest once.
Chrome Skull, Chrome Skull actually brings it actually flushes out the idea on why he's recording the murders, because they're selling it as a fetish. You know, like fetish porn.
Was Danielle Harris was she in the second one or the first one?
She was in the second one along with Brian Austin Green. God, I hate that fucking guy.
From Beverly Hills 90210?
Yeah, David.
What the fuck is up with these
addict?
What's up with these former Beverly Hills 9? And you notice every single time we talk about one of these motherfuckers, they are associated with cocaine. Every single time. Who we talking about? Ian Ziering last time? And you said he would do a bump. He'd do a bump off Tara Reid's chest. Now we talking about Brian Austin Green. Like, what happened to you motherfuckers, man? God.
Yeah, but to be fair, in 90210 he was doing cocaine. So.
Oh shit! It got dark in that show. I listen.
Yeah,
I didn't know
he was an addict for like fucking 6 seasons.
God damn.
I used to watch that. That was another show that I used to watch with my mom on Wednesday nights, man. We would always get Domino's and watch Beverly Hills. And then it got stupid once, like, the diner guy couldn't read. I was like, okay, I don't care if you can't read. Why do I give a fuck about Ned?
90210 90210 was the same. Luke Perry was in 90210, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Dylan Walsh. Dylan Walsh.
Dylan.
I remember kind of checking out when Dylan's dad died in the explosion. I was like, yo, this is just too much of a fucking soap opera.
It's very
I was
soap
like,
opera.
I was low key more of a Melrose Place dude. Like I stuck with Beverly Hills 90210 for as long as I could, but that was like Melrose Place.
Fucking crazy,
Yeah,
bro.
it was a lot more risque, and I was like the kid who used to try to sneak and watch shit on Cinemax at night. So I was definitely geared towards Melrose Place. Plus, I was crushing on Heather Locklear back in the day, man. Like when I saw her in the Return of Swamp Thing, I said, "Oh yeah, I need to follow her and everything she's doing." Daphne Zuko, the chick from the Fly too. She was in
Yes.
Melrose Place.
Yeah, she came in season 2, season 3.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Daphne Zuko, yo. Oh God
damn.
We got to start doing we got to do like retro reviews, man, for like 90s TV shows. That should be hilarious, man. She damn sure is.
Should do a watch along. Should do a watch along for one of those.
Yo, she damn sure is in this shit, man. Funny enough, man, we're talking about Scream, and the chick that played Cotton Weary's girlfriend was in Melrose Place.
Yeah, I think she was in season. She played the what's his name?
Somebody named Megan Lewis Mancini.
Oh my God, what's his name? Oh my God, I can't remember. He was the blonde dude. He kind of looked like Alan Tudyk.
I have no idea.
That's gonna drive me crazy. I don't have my laptop with me, and I can't. But anyway, back to Scream 4. I enjoy Scream 4 a lot, especially for what it's saying and what it's doing. I just wish the ideas were flushed out just a little bit because this movie would have hit so much harder with certain aspects just flushed out.
I don't know if I'm reaching here, but I just looked up like how we're talking about how it misses the mark on a lot of shit, and this was supposed to be the triumphant return of Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson together again for like everybody's favorite slasher franchise at the time. Could it have been because Wes Craven like lost his way at some point? Because after Scream, he didn't do another movie until 2005. He did Cursed. That was a fucking stinker. I've never seen Red Eye, but he did Red Eye the same year.
Red Eye was pretty solid. Red Eye was pretty solid. That was a nice.
I always hear good things about
thriller. That was a good thriller.
I always hear good things about it. I just got to get around the fact that Cillian Murphy is like the lead in there. I'm not really the biggest Cillian Murphy guy. He looks like he really is Scarecrow in real life. Like he looks terrifying. That dude looks scary as fuck. I'm not even gonna hold you. But I like Rachel McAdams though. And then in 2010, he did My Soul to Take, and god damn,
that was a rough watch. It was
god awful.
Not only that he directed, he wrote it. The problem is that when you have like I said this too, when you have a man that is like well into his 50s writing dialogue for like 18-year-olds, you're writing dialogue how you think teenagers sound. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? It's just My Soul to Take was just a rough watch. There was a good idea in there, but it was not executed properly, and I think Wes Craven just didn't care. Like it was just whatever.
He did not give a fuck about nothing that was going on in this movie. And then I don't even like that kid that's in there. The main dude, he's the one that's in the house at the end of the street and all that other bullshit. I don't. My Soul to Take is easily the worst movie Wes Craven has ever done. Rest in peace, Shot. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, people, but what? Go ahead and say
You have not seen. I can totally tell that you have not seen Deadly Blessing or Chiller.
I have not. Those are his worst movies?
Yeah, those are his worst movies.
Deadly Blessing.
Chiller is a CBS TV, made-for-TV movie, and Deadly Blessing is like an Amish horror movie. It's fucking crazy.
Okay. Deadly Blessing. I see Deadly Blessing. It says 81.
Do not let the cover fool you. because the cover
She looks
is very
like she
suggestive.
looks like she's getting the best facial massage in the
Yeah,
world right now. She's just like she's just what the fuck is this shit? I've never even heard of Deadly Blessing, and I've looked at Sharon Stone is in this.
yeah, she plays a best friend.
Jeff
I think it's
East,
her
that's the guy
first
from
feature.
Pumpkinhead. Michael Berryman's in this. Okay. Lawrence Monte. I don't know, but he looks
Ernest
like
Borgnine
fucking.
is in there.
This one dude looks like Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah, that's. I think that's Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah, I've never heard of this movie.
Yeah, that
I see this
movie
one
does.
guy, the one Amish guy in this in the trailer thumbnail. He's just looking like, what the fuck? But he's got like the Amish hat on, and it looks like it's a. I don't think that's a pentagram behind him. What the fuck? I don't know. Is this worth a drunk watch?
Yes.
If you had to pick this or what's the other movie you said he did?
Chiller.
Chiller.
Chiller. That's on YouTube. Man, that's a fucking tough one to watch too. Because there's like
Jill Scholen? Jill Scholen.
yeah, but he's
Oh
so
my God, man.
underutilized in the movie, and Michael Beck's in the movie, so is Paul Sorvino. It is not a good movie, man.
Poor Wes Craven. Humble beginnings, man. I mean, look, I feel like all our favorite horror directors, nobody has a track record that's home run, home run, home run. Like I'm a George A. Romero guy, like that's my goat. But even I know George A. Romero, like even movies like the Dead Saga, they are ranked as they are released for me. Like Night, Dawn, Day, Land, and Land of the Dead. I like that movie, but that's when it's like you kind of gave George A. Romero too much money. Then Survival of the Dead, it's like that movie's awful. I love the guy's work. He's responsible for like why I wanted to do what I do today, but it's like, and then Diary of the Dead. I didn't like Diary of the Dead. I know you kind of like. I think I remember you kind of saying like you like Diary of the Dead.
I like Diary of the Dead.
It's okay, man. I just like the characters are just annoying as shit. Like I hate the guy that's holding the camera. The guy Jason. He's just like, listen, I know that zombie's biting your face off, but let me like keep screaming, like put some energy into it. Put some. Oh no!
I thought that was fucking great, man. When he's all like, "Hey, can you struggle just a little bit more with that zombie? I'm trying to get this shot." Like, fuck you, man! Get this fucking zombie off
man. Oh my god, man! What they should have did, the whole movie should have just took place on that farm with Samuel. That dude, the deaf guy, the Amish guy, he's fucking amazing, and they only keep him for like one sequence. That's it. They should have fucked.
And he saves her ass.
Yeah,
saves.
He's like, I'm Samuel. After he throws the dynamite, and he just holds that shit up while it's all this debris coming in his face. Like I love that shit. But yeah, that's what I was about to say. Scream 4. We always got sidetracked.
Did this revitalize the franchise for you? Did this renew interest for you? Did you at the moment when you saw this movie? Were you excited of a prospect of a part 5 after you saw this movie, or were you just like? Eh?
No, I felt like after Scream 4, I'm like, okay, it's a Scream movie, but it's not even better than part 2 for me. And I'm like, at this point, yeah, I need a part 5. Because I wasn't all the way satisfied with how Scream 4 played out. Like that third act, the third act is okay because Kirby steals the show when she's naming all those remakes back to back to back to back. I love that scene. They mirror back to the first one when Charlie's like tied up the way or taped up the way Steve is. That's cool. But Jill, her reveal takes away from a lot of this fucking movie. I already had problems with it. But when Jill reveals herself, I was like, oh, the niece or the cousin, whatever. I was like, okay, why? And then when she starts to explain her motive, I'm like, bitch, like shut up. This whole, you had your 15 minutes of fame, now I want mine. And it's like, oh my God, you sound like the biggest brat of the entire franchise at this point. Charlie, that made sense. Like him being a movie geek, and I love when he reveals himself, when he killed Kirby, people called me crazy and was like, oh, you're fucking stupid. Kirby's dead. Fuck all because
We
I knew
never
she was coming back. I
see
knew
her take her last breath. Never
exactly.
see her take her last breath. And she's still
But
moving. She's
I
still moving
love
when Charlie walks in the house.
when Charlie grabs Sydney and I love that fucking line, especially from his character where he says he's got the knife to her neck and he's like, you learn a lot when you watch horror movies over and over. All the plots are about trying to kill you. And I'm like, that was hardcore. Like for a reveal and a line to say to like Sidney Prescott, that shit was hardcore. But Jill, when she starts her shit, first of all, she allegedly killed my man Charlie. But like that whiny brat diva shit, I couldn't stand it. But she did redeem herself. When she starts fucking herself up, like when she runs into the knife and slams her face into the glass pitcher and drops, she pulls her fucking hair out. And she shot Trevor in the dick. I was like, oh God, this girl, she definitely is not the girl you cheat on because she shot that man in the pee-pee. And I like that was like one of the hardest like gunshot wounds in the series to watch, hands down. Like that shit, fuck a headshot. That was bad. That was bad. But I just didn't like Jill. Like I did not like her reveal as the killer. They did not show any of the when they're revealing themselves and Charlie's like, yeah, I got a lot of footage from my Robbie kill, and then they take the cameras out the mask and it's like we didn't see any of that shit. Like you said,
that's what I mean about not being fleshed out.
They had a lot of great ideas on paper and a lot of ideas presented that they just didn't follow through with. And then when you think the movie's going to be over, like they could have just as easily killed Sydney, and people would have been like, "Oh shit!" Like first of all, they should have killed Gail. Gail should have died in Scream 4. I'm sorry, like if she dies in Scream 6, I know I'm going to be emotional as fuck. But to raise the stakes, again, they played it safe as shit, like they always do. Gail should have died. And that barn sequence, and watching the trailers, I thought she was going to die, where they cut it up in a way where the Ghostface is on top of her, and she's like, do it if you have the guts. And then you see Ghostface stab down, but they cut away in the trailer. And I was like, okay, Gail's going to die in this one, but she just gets fucking, like a little shoulder wound. And they didn't kill Sydney when they had the opportunity to. We get a second, third act sequence in the hospital.
You get a fucking monologue. Like, again, stop monologuing. The fuck is your guys' problem? If James Bond villains taught anyone anything, it's to stop fucking monologuing.
Right. Stop explaining your entire scheme and your entire plan and shit. It just doesn't.
The best villain monologue of all time, and I hate this movie, is Watchmen. He explains his plan, and he says, "I did it 35 minutes ago, bitch."
Watchmen. I love Watchmen, but I hated that fucking villain. I hate that dude. Yeah. Ooh, do I hate that dude? Especially when he reveals that he put that fucking cyanide capsule in that dude's mouth, but he's just, the way he's selling it, I'm just like, you're full of shit. He's like, don't bite down, you son of a bitch. Like, who says that? Like, you put that shit in there and you're closing his mouth shut. I hate that fucking dude. And I hate his outfit too. He whooped their fucking ass though. With Rorschach and what was his name? Night Owl or something?
Yeah, like Night Owl.
He whooped their asses. They came in there like they had to drop on him. He said, no. Beat that ass in slow motion in a way only Zack Snyder can do.
These cats are all fucking horror movies, but yeah, they need to start watching spy movies to realize, okay, I need to stop monologuing because then I can actually kill Sidney Prescott if I just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, every single time. I would have much rather like Robbie killed or Charlie killed Jill, and then, well, I guess they wouldn't have had such the family ties and all that type of bullshit. But if Charlie killed Jill and then he monologued for a little bit, like I would have been sold on it. Even though they shouldn't monologue, I would have been way more sold on that if he, like, because you just reveal him as the killer just for him to get murked off by this little pint-sized ass brat. Like I just don't like Jill. I think Jill, sometimes I go back and forth between her and Amber, but Jill is one of the worst fucking reveals in the whole franchise for me. I just don't like her reveal. And it's like, okay, how did you do all of this? Like how, like these frail ass characters, like Charlie, okay, he can get by, but Jill, there's no fucking way that you're just running up on people like this. You would get tossed some fucking where. That's why, listen, I can't. Ghostface, I know you said the hubris is what's going to get us caught up and killed. I'm not, I would be pissed if Jill revealed herself to me, and I'm just like, that was you fucking me up throughout this entire movie? Like, no, you owe me a do-over at this point.
The costume gives them superpowers.
Yeah, it gives them superpowers, and it makes them the clumsiest motherfuckers ever, because everybody that puts that fucking costume on, they're tripping all over things, and they're falling all over things, and they're getting their asses kicked. Like, who was it that Jill kicked in the face? It had to have been Charlie. Or not Jill.
Charlie.
Yeah, Sydney kicks him in the face. Yeah, because Jill was at the house. That was when she got stabbed on the arm on the staircase. And but she kicks the shit out of Charlie in his face. I just don't like Jill. I don't like her. I don't.
Best kill.
Oh, Olivia. Hands fucking down. When you're watching Olivia get killed across the street, oh boy. That shit. She gets it bad. And I heard that, obviously, the MPAA strikes again. They toned her shit down. But I'm like, if that was toned down, then I want to see what originally happened.
It's a little bit more struggle, but when Sydney walks into the room, you see what happens. It is like the room is covered in blood. It looks like Johnny Depp's room in Nightmare on Elm Street.
In Nightmare on Elm Street. Yep. Damn.
Yeah.
That's what it should have been.
It's fun.
That's what it should. That death scene. I remember, like, when Ghostface pops out the closet, like, it was a good jump, but it wasn't until he stabbed her in the fucking hand, and I was like, oh shit! Like, she's trying to, like, fight back and shield herself, but that's realistic though. Like, you can't just dodge a knife and all this, and that shit went straight through. Then the way he like kicks her or throws her into like her dresser. Like, that impact is crazy. Then he throws her through the fucking window, and it's almost in slow motion when he does it. He throws her through the window and then flips her body over while she's on her back, and then looks directly at Jill and Kirby. And then when Sydney walks in the room, you see her fucking intestines are like laying on the bed right next to her. And that hands down. I almost said Anthony Anderson's kill. But what ruined his fucking kill is when he said "fuck Bruce Willis" at the end. And I watched like Scream 4 the other night, and I'm like, that does not even make sense. Like, I understand the reference they made to Bruce Willis and like him being a cop prior, but that was just ill-timed.
You know what he should have said instead? He should have said "fuck LL Cool J" from H2O.
Why would he fuck LL Cool J?
Because he was a security guard in H2O.
Oh, he was. And he survived.
Yeah.
He did survive. I just didn't understand, like, Kevin Williamson writing that. I'm just like, what? And that scene works because it was a weird death scene. Like, Adam Brody gets killed, and then Anthony Anderson gets fucking stabbed in the forehead, but he doesn't die right away, and he's kind of like winding down. He's still looking for his partner, but he swings a punch. And Ghostface is in the background, like, kind of looking at him like, well, I don't really have to do shit else. I'm going to just let you topple over.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. It was a weird death scene, man. Like, but Olivia's was just nonstop fucking her up until it was go time. Like, that was vicious. And she was the one that, everybody, like, I guess they thought she was like the glamour girl, because Robbie calls her, he's like, Olivia, don't look at my tits, I have a mind, Morris. And then the cops are looking at her like all googly eyed when she gets out of her car, which is fucking weird, because technically in the movie, I don't know how old she was, but in the movie she's a high school student. Why would these fucking cops be looking at Olivia? Maybe that was Harvey Weinstein saying, hey, just put that in there. Put that in there. He was over Kevin Williams. He was over Kevin Williamson's shoulder, and he was like, "Yeah, can I put something in this script real quick?" Kevin Williamson's like,
"Yeah, right."
He's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. Just put it in a movie. Put it in a movie. It's nothing. This isn't reflective of my life at all. Just put it in a movie." Fucking Harvey.
I think we're in agreement with this one. Best character is Kirby.
Kirby, yeah. And when I do want to say Charlie, Kirby just, Kirby. They brought her back for a reason, man. I love Kirby's character, and her haircut is definitely popping in that movie. Kirby, like her, and I love like for Charlie to be the killer. I don't know if this was him naturally being nervous, or if this was just him in character trying to not be the killer. But when when they're watching the movie and Kirby like whispers, she's like, "Hey Charlie," and he jumps up right away and answers her. The way she's staring at him, I'm like, bruh. If Trevor wasn't cock blocking, you probably could have got some before you went on a murder spree at that house. Because Kirby
you
was,
probably wouldn't even have murdered her by then.
Exactly. You could have saved yourself. And I was rooting, like I was like, and then Trevor walks in and was like, "Hey guys, did you see my phone?" or whatever he says. I'm like, I was so rooting for Charlie and Kirby to just, it's something as small as a kiss. I wanted all that shit to happen because she gives him such a hard time throughout the whole movie, and then she finally caves in when she's like, "Yeah, you kind of cute when I'm drunk," and all this other shit. Like, I love those two fucking characters, but Kirby takes the cake, yeah.
And sure. I also think we're in agreement. Worst character is Jill.
Jill, yeah. It should be Trevor, but Jill, fuck her, fuck Jill. No diss to Emma Roberts. I had a better time watching Emma Roberts in